Let's talk through exactly how to write impressive bullet points. So when we're thinking about what makes a bullet point stand out, we're really looking to answer two questions. So the first is, what is your reader looking for? So when a recruiter picks up a resume, what exactly are they looking to discern from a given individual's bullet points? And then the second thing is, how can you differentiate yourself from similar applicants? So if a recruiter receives 10 resumes for a sales and marketing position, and the day-to-day responsibilities of each person are more or less the same, what will make your client's resume stand out from the rest? And this is especially important when we're thinking about roles such as accounting, right, or financial planning and analysis, where a lot of the crucial day-to-day components of the role are very similar. So let's go ahead and answer these questions. So what is your reader looking for? We talked to a few recruiters to really get their perspective of what makes a strong resume. And here are some of their responses. So Kelly Garland, who is the principal at a recruiting firm called Garland Source, he mentioned that impact is very important. So your resume should demonstrate that you are an impact player, able to drive change and make improvements and solve pain. So we want to make that very clear and visible on the resume. And then clear outcomes. So Andrew Lynch, who's the director of a UK-based job board that focuses on the education sector, he mentioned that the content should be data-focused, providing clear-cut action and outcome descriptions. So we want to understand what impact this individual is going to have on the bottom line. For some clients, their role just won't necessarily have a bottom line impact, but even if that is the case, how did they improve processes? How did they drive efficiency? How did they improve even client satisfaction or internal employee satisfaction, right? Whenever we can find metrics or just describe those results in more detail, that's what we're really should be focusing on. And then lastly, tangible accomplishments. So John Hill, who is CEO of the Energist, which is another recruiting firm, said that by the time a candidate reaches the executive level, they should be able to showcase their strengths and back them up with tangible accomplishments that demonstrate they've made an impact in their previous roles. So especially at the executive level, if you think about a company who's looking to bring in a new CEO or a new CFO, what they're really going to be looking for is how this individual can come into the organization and improve it, right? Whether that's through transformational initiatives or through improving the bottom line. So when we are able to point to specific things the person has done in the past, it just helps paint a picture for recruiters as to what they'll be able to achieve should they join the company. And then second, how can you differentiate yourself from similar applicants? It really comes back to this whole concept of achievement-based bullet points. This is what is really going to help candidates stand out. So if we think about the two ways we can write bullet points, you have the task-based bullet points that just describe what the person was responsible for on a day-to-day basis. Whereas on the other hand, you have the achievement-based bullet points that take things a step further and really describe the impact the person made at the company. So let's go ahead and talk through the formula for writing achievement-based bullet points. And if you don't take away anything from this training, really I think the upcoming slides are a few of the most important because this is going to be how we want to structure not just the bullet points, but even when you're writing a cover letter, right? We want to make sure things our writing is structured effectively and that we're demonstrating impact and tying things back to how they'll actually add value to our reader. So the formula for achievement-based bullet points, it comes down to three components. You have the main point, an example, and then an explanation or an elaboration. So we'll talk through each of these in a bit more detail so you can see exactly what that looks like in practice. But the main point is referring to the day-to-day task or the action the person took. Then the example will put the action into the context of their work environment and their company. And then the explanation or elaboration is going to answer the so what question for recruiters. So sometimes a recruiter might read a bullet point, and if someone just says, prepared marketing reports, it's kind of like, okay, well, that's nice, but what did they actually achieve? So that's the question we're going to want to keep in the back of our heads when we're writing bullet points to make sure we're answering that so what question. So let's start off with main points. Main points answer the question of what were you doing? So that could be created Excel models, identified candidates to interview, or made cold calls. And then the examples will take that one step further and put the element into the context of the work environment. So perhaps you take created Excel models to created Excel models used for underwriting new hotel development projects. And then identified candidates to interview for 20 plus incoming analyst positions each year, or made cold calls to potential clients for the company's revenue management software. So again, it's just really allowing the recruiter to visualize what the person was doing. And then the explanations, those are going to be the impact. So in the first example, we had improving each analyst project efficiency by 25%. In the second, increasing offer acceptance rate by 12%. And in the last, boosted sales by 20%. So the way in which you structure the bullet points, you don't necessarily have to put main point, example, explanation in that order. Sometimes, as you can see in the third one, it might make sense to surface the achievement or the result, and it'll just make the bullet point a lot stronger. But generally speaking, when we are writing these achievement-oriented bullet points, they should include all three components in some capacity. So in the next video, what we'll do is show you a few examples of how you can structure bullet points in this way, and we'll also talk through paragraph overviews, which you'll use specifically on two-page documents. And that should give you a sense of what this looks like in a real-life scenario.